The chalk dust oath, a teacher's epic true comeback. The classroom was still and silver at 5:32 a.m., rows of desks like little boats in a quiet bay. Mr. Alvarez pressed a lab printout flat on the whiteboard ledge. Hypertension, pre-diabetic range, a resting heart rate that read like a Monday at 3 p.m., and felt the floor tilt under shoes that had learned to stand too long and sit too late. He pulled a detention slip from his blazer pocket, flipped it over, and wrote a sentence he could say without flinching. "I will build a body that can carry this classroom and the life outside it." Underneath, sharper and smaller. No drama, only evidence. He stuck the slip behind the room clock with a magnet so time would hold him accountable. The first bell of the year was days away. The oath wouldn't wait. The opening move refused the montage. He left the car 2 blocks from school and walked in through the side gate, breathing through his nose until breath matched steps, and the morning felt less like a sentence and more like a rhythm. In the faculty room, he set his phone to airplane mode, filled a bottle, and built a small circuit that touched every pattern without waking every old ache. Box-height goblet squats with a backpack of textbooks. Incline push-ups on the counter with elbows tucked and ribs stacked. One arm rose with a crate of paper to pull his shoulders out of their hunch. Suitcase carries down the hallway with water jugs to teach his midline to earn its paycheck, and a 45-45-second forearm plank with a long exhale and glutes lightly on. 2 clean reps left in the tank on everything. Always. He filmed one set on a propped-up stapler, winced at flared ribs, and wrote 2 cues on a sticky note for the inside of his gradebook. Exhale to stack. Knees track toes. Baselines went into a pocket notebook. Waist at the navel. An easy mile walk time. Resting heart rate after 3 quiet minutes. He closed the page with a line that would carry more than motivation. Showed up. Not perfect. Proud. Structure turned the vow into a lesson plan he could actually teach himself. He blocked 3 45-minute training windows like recurring classes, before first period on Mondays, the middle of the long prep block on Wednesdays, late morning on Saturdays when the campus track belonged to birds. He texted Ms. Chen from across the hall, "Be my attendance buddy. If I ghost a session, send me the homework." The program stayed boring in the way fundamentals pass every test. Full body, 3 sessions a week, always touching squat or lunge, hinge, push, pull, carry, and core. Warm-up was 5 minutes of brisk laps under the bleachers and a handful of band pull-aparts before 2 easy ramp sets for the first lift. The quiet progression ladder lived on a sticky note under the clock. 3 smooth sets of 8, then 9, then 10. Add the smallest plate, return to 8. Compounds lived at 1 to 2 reps in reserve, so technique led and joints could grade him kindly tomorrow. Accessories lived in the 10-15 range with slow, controlled eccentrics. Every session ended with a carry because posture forged under load follows you into lectures, parent conferences, and stares that used to steal breath. Technique became a new language that made heavy things feel lighter. 5 cues fixed most of what went wrong. For squats and lunges, plant a tripod foot, big toe, little toe, heel, stack ribs over pelvis like a tidy sentence, let knees track over toes, and drive the floor away. For hinges and deadlifts, crack a walnut in your armpits to lock lats, push hips back like closing the classroom door with your hip. Keep the load close, hold a long neutral spine, and finish by driving hips through instead of yanking the lower back. For presses, screw hands into floor or bar, elbows around 45 degrees on push-ups and bench, biceps by ears overhead, brace before you press. For pulls, chest proud, shoulders down and back, elbows toward hip pockets, brief pause and squeeze. For carries and core, zip the ribs, walk tall, no swaying, let the midline work like the backbone of a syllabus. He filmed 1 set per main lift each week, no filters, no excuses, and fixed 1 thing at a time. If the last rep got messy, the set was over. Strong stopped being a number from college and became a shape he could repeat when nobody clapped. Cardio changed jobs, from punishment to engine, from noise to a metronome that calmed the nervous system after cafeteria duty. He ran a gentle 2+1 rule that fit school bell rhythms. 2 conversational Zone 2 sessions of 25 to 40 minutes. Laps around the track, a purposeful campus loop, easy cycling on the staff room bike, where he could talk in full sentences, and his heart rate lived in the friendly middle. and one short interval day of 8 smooth, hard 20-second efforts on a bike with 100-second easy spins, fenced by a calm 5-minute warm-up and cool-down. The quiet MVP was neat, non-exercise activity, collected like hallway smiles, walking calls during planning, the far parking spot on purpose, stairs between wings, a 10-minute stroll after dinner to flatten glucose spikes, and quiet grading fog. Steps slid from 6 to 8 to 10,000 most days without becoming a second job. When fat loss stalled, he added 15 minutes of Zone 2, or tightened weekend drift before he tried to graft on more intensity. Engines are built in hours that never hit the school newsletter. Food decided whether the mirror kept up with the work. He didn't need magic. He needed a lunchbox system that survived copy machine queues and surprise assemblies. Calories started at a goal-based target. Body weight in pounds times 12 for fat loss, 14 for maintenance, and adjusted every 2 honest weeks by trend, not by one loud day after a bake sale. Protein became non-negotiable at 0.8, 1.0 grams per pound of goal body weight, spread across 3 to 4 meals. Plates followed the plate method because pictures teach fast. Half produce, a palm of lean protein, a cupped hand of fiber-rich carbs, a thumb of healthy fats. Breakfasts lived on autopilot. Greek yogurt with whey and berries before first bell. Eggs with oats and fruit on slower mornings. Cottage cheese with pineapple and toast when the brain needed a clean slate. Lunches were assembly only and survived the staff fridge. Pre-cooked chicken or tofu, microwave rice, bagged salad, olive oil and lemon in a bottle that used to hold hand sanitizer. Dinners rotated salmon with potatoes and broccoli. Turkey chili with beans and rice. Frozen vegetables tossed into a hot pan with sliced flank steak. He drank 2 to 3 liters daily, added a pinch of salt after sweaty sessions, and when cravings climbed the walls at grading time, a bridge snack, yogurt, berries, a few dark chocolate chips, stood between impulse and sleep. Eating out stopped being sabotage. Protein first, potatoes or greens in place of fries, sauces on the side, water before the entree. Supplements stayed optional and basic. Whey for convenience, creatine monohydrate 3 to 5 grams daily, caffeine if tolerated. 95% of progress came from plates he'd repeat on a tired Tuesday in February. Recovery turned effort into results and made mornings feel like promises instead of penalties. He built a cave out of a teacher's house. Blackout curtains, a fan that hummed like a projector, the phone charging in the kitchen so alarms didn't melt into scrolls. A landing strip brought the nervous system down. Lights low after 9, a warm shower, 10 pages of a novel that didn't feature teenagers, 2 minutes of slow exhale breathing. A 5-minute mobility loop pried open desk hips and scolded erectors before they wrote the next day's script. Couch stretch, thoracic opener over a rolled towel, ankle rocks at the wall, 3 slow, world's greatest reps. Between classes he practiced box breathing. Inhale 4, hold 2, exhale 6. So stress leaked out instead of compounding like ungraded essays. Every 6th to 8th week, a planned deload trimmed total sets by about a third, sharpened technique, and let him leave the gym with caged energy. Pain got a framework, not a panic. At 3 out of 10, reduce load and keep the pattern. At 4 to 5, change the variation. At 6 or sharp pain, stop, walk, reassess. Longevity beats bravado in professions that run on other people's emergencies. Setbacks arrived like pop quizzes. A parent night ate 2 training windows. A field trip hung over his legs. The bottom of a rushed lunge made the left knee complain. Old Alvarez would have turned a bad day into a bad week. The version holding the chalk dust oath shrank the plan instead. 10 focused minutes before homeroom, goblet squats to a box, incline push-ups, rows, a 30-second plank, until the timer sang. Back squats became goblets to a box on knee-grumpy days. Presses turned neutral grip when shoulders sulked. Eccentrics slowed until positions were his again. He kept a resistance band by the document camera and did 10 pull-aparts before long grading blocks. The staff fridge wore a tiny 4-box grid: training, protein, steps, sleep, and an actual pen kept streaks too valuable to break. 3 identity lines lived inside his gradebook where only he would see them. I train on busy days. I choose protein. I never miss twice. Cheesy? Maybe? Effective? Absolutely. Momentum showed up before the mirror admitted it. The second-floor hallway stopped taxing his lungs like debt. The belt asked for a new hole. Push-ups doubled, plank time stretched past a minute. Deadlifts felt like a handshake with gravity instead of a dare. He circled 2 dates in red. The District's charity stair, climb up the Civic Center, and, 6 weeks later, a community strength morning with a novice deadlift and carry. Training tilted without turning circus. Zone 2 climbed hills instead of circling flats. Weekend rucks put water bottles in a backpack and purpose in his stride. Carries ended every lift day, heavier, shorter, cleaner, so posture would walk into class with him. Deadlifts stayed a rep or 2 in reserve, bar close, lats on, hips through, back neutral, because graduation is better than spectacle. He rehearsed event mornings like first day of school, conservative warm-ups, chalk routine, breath on the pick, eyes on the landing, mantra loaded, own the setup. The rep will follow. The stair climb morning smelled like rain and coffee. He started slower than pride requested, shoulders soft, breath through the nose. At the landing that used to steal his resolve, he heard the old bargain, later, and answered with a longer exhale and a steadier cadence. He didn't sprint the finish. He arrived like a promise fulfilled, lungs loud but obedient, smile ungraded. 6 weeks later, Uner gulls and chalk dust, he lifted conservative, then honest, then a small PR that felt less like conquering iron and more like setting down a story that didn't fit anymore. The carry wobbled on the first turn, then straightened. He walked tall with chalk on his palms and the kind of grin that makes students believe you when you say, "You can." 90 days from the detention slip oath, the lab printout read like a new lesson plan. Blood pressure inside the lines, resting heart rate down, waist -3 inches, fasting glucose trending quiet. The first bell rang. He felt ready to teach the day and live the afternoon. Here's the handoff, because a story is a blueprint if you let it be. Write your reason on paper, you can touch and tape it where excuses live, inside a gradebook, under a clock, on a fridge. Block 3, 45-minute windows, and defend them like your best classes. Choose the simple rhythm that touches squat, hinge, push, pull, carry, and core, and leave 1 to 2 clean reps in reserve so you can come back tomorrow. Walk where sentences stay easy. Sprint short on a bike when you can. Collect steps like hallway hellos. Build protein-anchored plates you'll repeat during chaos. Hydrate like your next period depends on it. Make a bedroom cave and land your nervous system on purpose. Film 1 set, fix 1 cue, repeat next week. When a day collapses, shrink the plan. When a week wobbles, never miss twice. The clock will keep moving either way. Use it like a metronome. Let the chalk dust oath become the way you hold a life that finally holds you back.